Kurtov, today's daf yomi is Sanhedrin Kuvav, Sanhedrin 106. We're going to start three lines in the bottom of Kufhei Amar Beis. Amar Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmoni, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, Maidach Siv. What do we do from the pasuk? Ne'emanim patzei, Ne'emanim pitzei ohev, v'na'atros neshikos sonei. Basically, love the wounds from the one you love, but turn around the kisses from the one you hate. It means Tova Klala Shakila Achia Shilonias Israel Yosami Bracha Shabircham Bilam Arasha. The Jews were better off from the curses of Achia Shiloni, the prophet, than from the blessings of the wicked one, Bilam. Achia Shiloni, Achia the prophet Shiloni Kilel as Israel Bekana. He cursed the Jewish people that they'll be like a reed. As it says, that God will strike you down just like a reed is struck around in the water. But the reed is also a blessing to be struck like a reed because just like this reed is rooted in the water and its root regenerates, the Sharashav Merubin, its roots are deep. More on top of 106a, even all the winds in the world, bows for no shavaspo, come and blow the reed around, and aim is so something in como, and they don't move it away from its place. So the reed, it's battered and shattered, but it's still standing. And it comes along and continues with them. Once the wind stops, Ahmad Kanam ben Komo, the reed's still standing. Of Bilam Arasha, but Bilam the wicked one, Berchan Be'arez. He blessed the Jewish people that to be like a cedar tree. But a cedar tree is actually weaker than a reed because Ma Erez Eno Ome Bim Komayim. Just like the cedar tree is not standing in the water, Vashar Shav Muatin. Its roots are few. If its trunk does not regenerate, so even all the winds in the world, they come and they move it. They can't move the cedar tree, but then the southern wind comes, miyad okarto, upon him. The southern wind comes and uproots it. And so a big strong wind will knock it down, and it will never regenerate. So it's actually better to be cursed that you struck like a reed than to be blessed that you're strong like a cedar. And so therefore, it turns it over. He told me the reed merited to become used as a kulmis, as a quill. Right, Torah scrolls, Nevi'im, and Ksuvim. Vayar es Akeni vayisam mishlo. Continuing with Bilam's blessings or prophecies, it says he saw the Keni and he made a mashal. Amar Bilam Yisro. Bilam said to Yisro, Keni lo ayisa imanu ba'osa eitza. He said to Yisro the Keni, you were not with us in that council. Lo ayisa imanu ba'osa eitza. He says you were not with us. Were you not with us in that council? We'll see what it was. If that's the case, how did you merit to have your descendants be amongst the Sanhedrin? So what was the council? We're going to see the Gemara is going to tell us that there were three people who Paro took counsel from what to do with the Jewish people. Bilam, Eov, and Yisro. Bilam said to throw all the babies into the water. He was killed. Yisro ran away. He had descendants in the Sanhedrin, and Eov stayed silent, and so as a consequence, he suffered. So, there were three who took counsel. Who were the ones who gave counsel? Bilam, Eov, Yisro. Bilam gave advice to throw the babies in the sea. Nerak, he was killed. Eov Shashasak, he was quiet, and he had affliction. Yisro Shabarach, and Yisro ran away. His descendants sat amongst the chambers and Sanhedrin. It says, so from Yoshvei Yavetz Taratim Shematim Suchatayim Hema Hakinim Abba Me'achmas Avi Beis Rechav Uksiv B'nei Keni Chosei Moshe Olu Me'ir Atmarim. So the Keni was Yisro, and the Keni sat in the they were the Yoshvei Yavetz. We see from here Why did Yisro run away? Why didn't he speak up? Because maybe he ran away. Some suggest to prevent him from having a proper quorum. Because in the end, the decree was limited. It wasn't just all the babies; it was just the baby boys. So it was so maybe he accomplished something. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Ailo Uma Shetimtza B'Shaita Shekadosh Baruch Hu Usa Pidyon Labanim. Rabbi Yochanan said, "Woe to the nation that is discovered or found when God goes to make redemption for His children." Me may tell Ksuso ben Lavi Luvia. Would anybody ever dare put his garment between a lion and a lioness, Bishash and Iskak and Hamzan when they're mating? No way, nobody would get between them. Then it says in the pasuk, Bilam continues, Vitzim miyad kitim, Amarav libun aspir. So basically, what is this referring to? The tzim miyad kitim, or the ship, the large ships. So what is Rav? What is this place, Kitim? This is a place that's called the Libun Aspir. It's a place that they departed from. The Inu Ashur, the Inu Aver. What does that mean? That these are the nations that God will bring them to come with these large ships. Ad Ashur Katlei Miktal, until Ashur, all the nations will be killed. From that point on, they will be slaves, but not killed. Then it says in the pasuk that after Bilam saw he can curse this people, he said, I'll go to my people, I'll give you advice. What these people will do to you. So the Gemara says, no. What you should do to this people, that would be what Bilam should have said. Like a person who's cursing himself when he says it about other people. Meaning, say he spoke in this manner about others, but he's really cursing himself. And what was the advice he gave to the Moabites? So he said, their God loves, their God sonem zima. Their God hates improper sexuality. And they desire kind garments. I'll give you advice. And make tents. Put some harlots in these tents. Put the older ones outside and the younger ones inside. And sell them the garments. Also, they made an enormous amount of these tents. And they put in these harlots. The older women outside, the younger women inside. When the Jewish people ate and drank, were happy, and they were going out into the marketplace, the older woman would say, maybe one a nice garment to buy. She who gave the real price, or the appropriate price. But the younger one inside would give a lesser price. And they did this 2 or 3 times. And after they did this 2 or 3 times, she would say to Maria Kabem Bayis, you're like a member of my household. Go pick whatever one you want. And she had jugs of the very fancy Ammonite wine next to her. They still weren't doing anything wrong because they were allowed to drink that wine. In that time, it was still allowed. Then she said to him, you want a nice glass of wine? Once he drank it, Barbo, the fire raged in him. He said, be with me. She took out her idols from her garment. Worship this. I can't do that. I'm Jewish. What do you care? Do you really want anything other than all you have to do to it is to defecate? He didn't know that that's how they worshipped it. Not only that. But not only that, she said, I will be she said, I'm going to be I'll not be with you. I'll not allow you to do what you want to do until you reject the Torah's Moshe Rabcha. Torah Moshe. Shenemar Hema Bo Baal Peor Vayinazu Lavoshet Vayu Shikutzim Ba'avam. So they came to this place called Baal Peor, and Vayinazu Lavoshet Vayu Shikutzim Ba'avam. Vayeshev Yisrael b'Shittim. What does it mean? The Jewish people dwelt in Shittim. Rabbi Elazar Omer Shittim Shema. Name was Shittim. Rabbi Shua Omer Shouldn't ask a different truth. No, that's where they engage in this sinful behavior. But the Am was the Am, and it says that it called to the people to slaughter to their gods, and the people ate and they drink. So what does it mean? But the Am was the Am. What does that mean? Rabbi Elazar Omer Arumos Pagubaim. They met them while they were unclothed. Rabbi Yeshua Omer Shanasu Kuan Balikarin. And all the men, when they saw these women, became aroused. What does it mean? It says in the pasuk that they were. Also, it's another dispute between Rabbi Elazar and Yeshua. It's really not to do with Bilam. It says that Jewish people camped in Refidim. What does that mean? Rabbi Elazar Omer Refidim Shema. He says it was its name. Rabbi Yeshua Omer Sharipu Atzmam Divrei Torah. They weaken themselves from Torah. It says Lo if no avos abanim miripiyon yadayim. The fathers do not turn to their children from their weak hands. The word Vayeshev is an expression of distress. Vayeshev in the Torah means he settled. He settled. The Jew is not supposed to be settling. The Jew is supposed to be going. We know the famous Rashi at the beginning of Parashat Vayeshev. Bikesh Yaakov Vayeshev V'shal. Yaakov wanted to settle in tranquility. Kafatzov rogues Osha Yosef. The turmoil of Joseph jumped upon. The Vayeshev is an expression of star. How do we see this? It says, Vayeshel Israel b'Shittim v'Yachal Amaznos. They began to commit harlotry, Albanos Moab, the daughters of Moab. Or Vayeshev Yaakov Beretz Migariv, Aviv Beretz Canaan. And then what happened next? Joseph brought the bad tidings. Or Venomer Vayeshev Israel Beretz Goshen. Jewish people settled in Goshen. And soon after, Jacob was about to die. Vayeshev Yehuda v'Yisrael vetach ishtachas kafno v'tachas tein also. So it says in time of Shlomo, the Jewish people settled underneath their vineyards and their fig trees. And then soon after, Vayakam Hashem Satan with Shlomo as Hadada Adomi Mizera Melech Hu Be'Adom. And then also Hadada Adomi came to thwart Shlomo's plans. V'esmachei Midian hargu achaleim. They killed the kings of Midian. Bilam ben Beor they killed by the sword. Bilam my biasim. What was Bilam doing with the kings of Midian? Why was he in that battle? He was already older. What was he doing there? He went to take his payment for a consulting fee for killing the 24,000. I remember Azucha Bartuvi Amarav. I know Dam this is what people say. Gamwa Azla Lamibai Karne Une. When a camel goes seeking for horns, then the ears that he has will end up getting cut off. Meaning to say, Bilam went, he should have been happy, but with what he had, he went to get more money, he got it, or whatever he had was cut off. And it's Bilam ben Beor same. And then it says in the pasuk in Yoshua, Bilam ben Beor, the Kosem, the Jewish people killed by the sword. So why is he called a Kosem? Kosem Navi. He's a prophet. He's not a Kosem. Amar Rabbi Yochanan B'Tchilo Navi. First he was a prophet, or Besof Kosem. In the end he was a Kosem. Amar Papa Haydo Damri Inchi. This is what people say. Misagne Vishilte Have Eisen Legavri Nagri. So Rav Papa says, this is what people say. Misigni Vishilte. So he said, from the person who was a woman who was basically married to princes who were very distinguished men, she went and she became adulterous with simple people, with the wood chop, with the carpenter. Hargu b'nei Yisrael b'charav, on top of 106b. Hargu b'nei Yisrael b'charav el chalaim amarav. They killed Bilam and they put him to death, where they were able to maneuver in all the 4 types of execution. Do you know how old Bilam was. It's not explicit in the text. And it says that people who are wicked will not live to after days. We see Bar Tlasim and Tlashan. Oh, Bar Tlasim Arba. So since a person's life is 7 years, we see he's not going to get there. So he was either 33 or 34. Armoy Shaper Kamaras. You're correct. Or he's speaking properly. The Bilam. I went to the ledger of Bilam Bavik Sivbe Bar Tlasim and Tlashan, that he was 33 years old. Bilam Chagira Kad Katel. So Bilam Chagira Kad Katel Yase Pinchas. It says in this thing that Bilam was 33 years old, and he was lame when Pinchas the general killed him. Amalei Bray the Ravina Bray. So the son of Ravina said to his son, Bekulo Tafis Tapish Midrash, by all those people who are listed in the Mishnah who have no share in the world to come, you should not continue to find bad things to say about them, with the exception of Bilam, the wicked one, the Kama, the Mishkachas, whatever you can find bad to say about him, continue to say. Now we say the next one of those who have no share in the world to come is Doeg. So Doeg was the one who was the advisor to Saul, and he was responsible for the killing of the Kohanim from Nob. So Ktiv Doeg, Ktiv Doeg. He's called Doeg, and he's also called Doeg with the Yod. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Metzchil Yosef V'Kadosh Baruch Hu V'Doeg Shema Yetze Zel Etar B'Tzra. So at first, God was sitting and was worried that Doeg would become bad. After he went bad, Amar Vavai Shayatze. Woe to this one. Simon Gibor V'Rasha V'Tzadech Chal V'Sofer. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Maidel Sev Matis Hawel Bara'ah Hagibor Chasid Al Kol Hayom. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Doeg Lo Gibor B'Torah Ata. So God said to Doeg the Rasha, he said to him, aren't you a giant in Torah? Matis Hawel Bara'ah. Why are you continuing to do these bad things? Lochad said, Kel Natoy Lecha Kol Hayom, isn't the kindness of God stretched out on you the whole day? Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Maidach Sev Rasha Amar Elokim. Malchal Saper Chukai. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Doeg HaRasha. God said to Doeg, Malchal Saper Chukai. What are you? Why are you engaging in Torah study? Kishatam Agila Parshas Meratzchem, Parshas Misaper Lashon Hara Mat Dorish B'hem. When you come to the passage of Lashon Hara, and the murderers, what do you say? I mean, you're a murderer and you speak Lashon Hara. So what do you darshan? You're a big Torah scholar. What do you darshan when you get to those to justify your actions? Vatisa brisi, alei ficha, Amar Rabbi Ami, Ein Torah social doeg el misafa v'chutz. The Torah of doeg is only from the lips outwards, meaning it's all external, it's not internal. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Maidach said, Vayirut tzadikim vayira'u v'alav yischaku. What does it say that tzadikim were afraid, and they saw and they were afraid, and then they laughed. So at first tzadikim were afraid that people should not learn from the action of Doeg. But then when they saw that Doeg was punished, they were rejoicing. That Doeg die. No, wait until he forgets his Torah. Don't wait until he forgets. You cause him to throw it up on his own. God said to David, let's bring Doeg in the world to come. So Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Limru Shemaita ben Midrash Mishmei. Said, say teaching from in the Beit Midrash in his name. God says to David, let's bring Doeg into the world to come. And David said, no, Hashem should break him. So then God said, well, say a teaching of Torah in his name. I'm in front of Yachchav. No, don't let him talk in your tent. Let him have children who are Torah scholars. No, uproot him from the land of the living. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak Maidach said, Ayeh Sofer, Ayeh Shokel, Ayeh Sofer, or something. And what did we do with the pasuk where it says in Isaiah, also the Kinos of Tisha B'Av, where is the Sofer? Where is the one who weighs? Where is the Soferis and Migdalim? So the pasuk means Ayeh Sofer, Where is Doeg, who used to count all of the letters of the Torah? Meaning, he knew how to count. Where's the one who weighs? He analyzed all the Kavachomers in the Torah. Sofer, some Migdalim. What is the one who count? Where is the one who counts the Migdalim? Shaya Yodeya, Shaya Sofer, Shalosh Milos Halachos, Psukos B'Migdal Parapavir. He knew 300 halachos about a tower floating in the air. What is a tower floating in the air? Rashi gives 4 explanations. The first is from the Tagal Yonah Shal Malamin Alamid, that when you draw the Lamed, you make one crown on top of it. And so why is it Kafuf Alamata? And why is it bent below? So basically try to explain the top of the Lamed. Rashi says he heard that from his Rebbe. That's talking about a tower that's floating in the air that enters into the land of Israel. Or he wanted to know if you're tummy. Alternatively, he wanted to know about a tower that floats in the air using magic. Okay, so anyway, so I'm a Rebbe, Ami Abra Mea. They asked 400 questions about a tower floating in the air. They couldn't answer one. Because it's so difficult. Amar Rava Rabusal Mibai is a big deal to ask questions. The Shnei the Rabbi Yehuda Kua Tenuya ben Ezekiel. The years of Rabbi Yehuda, everybody knew Ezekiel. Anan Kamasnina and Tuva Buktin. And we learn even more. We learn all of Uktzin. And Kiali Mati Rabbi Yehuda. When Rabbi Yehuda would come to this part of Uktzin, Isha Shekoveshes Yerak Bektera, a woman who salts the vegetables in her pot. Amar Zaitim Shekov Shemitar Fatoram Amar Avayos to Rav Shmuel Kachazina Ache. He said that this is very difficult, like those that Rav and Shmuel engaged in, that they didn't know what the laws of them, they didn't know. So the base managers of Rabbi Yehuda didn't know how to learn Uktzin. Manaka Masninon. Uktzin taught, sorry, Mesifta, and we have 13 yeshivas that are just studying Mesechas Uktzin. So we know so much Torah, more Torah than even Rabbi Yehuda and his base medrash, says Rabbi Yami. But Ella, but what happens is, but Rabbi Yehuda, Sholef, Masami, Vasimich, Rabbi Yehuda would just need to remove his shoe and the rain would come falling down. And we scream out and nobody pays attention. God doesn't care so much about the objective learning. God wants to know what's in our hearts. So then the Gemara says, Doeg and Achitophel, they didn't know how to explain the halachos properly. So the pasuk says they knew how to do it. They knew how to understand the Talmud, but they didn't know how to understand the sugya to pasuk in the halacha at the end of it. Rabbi Yamin says Doeg first forgot his Torah study. As it said, Rav Ashi Amar Rava said, Nitzari got leprosy. Shneimar Itzmata called Zona Mimeka. So Vasam wants me to Mitargamino Lachotenu. Tanan, Aben Miskar Mukhad al Priya Ufrim Abavad. Only difference between the Muskar, the Mitzora who's confined, the Mitzora who's a Mukhad, he's a Sur Mitzora, is that only the one who's a Sur Mitzora has to tear his garment and let his hair grow wild. Okay, we'll stop here. This is today's beautiful, beautiful daf. Yashikoach.